AI is not going to take our jobs. And I'm going to unpack why that's true. So we've all seen the headlines of big job losses and that right now AI is the root cause of that according to the papers. But let's actually think about this for a second. There's a lot going on in the world right now for a start. So we've got a lot of uncertainty in the world. We've got geopolitical uncertainty, we've got debt cycles and the pattern of debt cycles causing uncertainty in financial markets. And then we have this new technology coming in all at the same time. That means that a lot is changing, and trying to even start to unpick that and looking at the cause versus correlation of AI and any job related news is questionable. But that's not why AI is not going to take our jobs. I'm going to unpack why AI is not going to take our jobs by looking first of all at what's a job, then we're going to look at what's work, and then we're going to look at why do people actually have jobs. So a job is this idea that someone else is going to give you money for the value that you're putting into their business. And historically, that's been a really great idea because what's happened is businesses have been created to create and store value. And by creating and storing value, they need people to create that value. And that's been through doing. Now, what's changing with AI technology is the opportunity for the cost of doing to drop towards zero. And it's dropping towards zero fast. And that's a really good thing, because what we've been doing historically is having these jobs where we've been doing a lot of doing. Now, here's the question. Have you ever felt too busy? Because that is too much doing that you needed to do to provide the value that you felt you needed to provide to be comfortable in that job situation. So, have you also ever heard the phrase, work expands to fill the time available? That's a real truism, and it's a truism because the doing has been so expensive that we've had to live through scarcity. We've had to manage our time and create to-do lists and prioritize because there wasn't enough time to do the doing. If you can tell me someone whose job is just going to disappear if everything they did today went away and was able to be done by AI, and there would be nothing to replace it, if you can tell me any marketer who doesn't have a million other ways they could be trying to create new streams of people to come in and experience their product, if you can tell me someone in finance who can't spend more time predicting different ways that this uncertainty could play out, I'd be fascinated to hear it. So I don't buy that because there's going to be less doing by humans and AI is going to do more of it, that that's actually going to create a seismic shift in people not having jobs. What I do think is going to happen is those organisations that have collected together the doers, so those consultancies, massive consultancies with hundreds of thousands of people, they're facing a moment because their whole world has been based on that high cost of doing. Other organisations are actually outsourced to them because it's been too expensive to do it themselves. So they are announcing lots of job losses. That's also not necessarily caused by AI, and even if it was, that's only a fraction of the economy. Most of the jobs in our economy are in the 90%, which are the SMEs. And in that space, they've always been resource-constrained organisations. And so, what happens when the cost of doing drops for those organisations? They get to grow. They get to grow and create new jobs because they need more people, because they have more things that are going to create value. They can open new product lines. They can go into new markets. And when they're 90% of the economy and the large companies are 10%, doesn't that mean that growth is going to be 9 times as big as the reduction from those big companies? Isn't that exciting? Because it actually creates a more inclusive economy. It creates an economy where more people are going to be included in making more money in more places. I wrote an article a long time about the UK being reforested with money trees. And that's what I see happening now, is the opportunity for this reforestation and money trees in all of our towns, the forgotten towns. That's exciting. That's a really good thing that's going to happen, and it's going to create more jobs. And the final piece is that you don't even need a job. What you need is work, meaningful work that gives you nourishment financially, emotionally, maybe even spiritually. And entrepreneurship allows you to go and do whatever is your thing to do in the world. And guess what? This powerful technology makes that even more possible. You're less reliant on having to go and get funding from others to bring your idea to life. You're less reliant on having to go and find the ways to actually make the money work because you have to do so much to make it happen. So that actually democratizes our startup ecosystem even more. And do you know what happens when you start to democratize a startup ecosystem? You create more jobs because these things grow and they create jobs. So the idea that AI is going to take our jobs is just nonsense. It's part of this silicon supremacist view where AI is going to be better than humans and therefore the end is nigh. And that's a choice that we can make. And what we actually need to choose is optimism. That's why I'm an AI optimist, and that's why I think you should be too.